The rain hadn't stopped for 3 days. It hammered against the corrugated iron roof of my grandfather's greenhouse, a relentless drumming that mirrored the insistent thrum in my head. I was supposed to be clearing out this back corner of his property, a task he'd left undone for nearly 30 years. The ground was muddy, slick with rain, and something else, a strange stillness clinging to the air despite the storm. Beneath the tangled roots of an ancient rose bush, half buried in the soil, I found it. A small, tarnished metal box, its surface covered in verdigris. It looked like something straight out of a steampunk novel, intricately engraved with swirling patterns and a tiny, rusted lock. Curiosity, that insidious little demon, took hold. This wasn't just some discarded junk. This felt significant. The rain continued to fall, obscuring the already dim light. The lock yielded with a protesting groan. Inside, nestled on faded velvet, was a device unlike anything I'd ever seen. It looked like an early radio receiver, but far more complex. A tangle of copper coils, vacuum tubes, and delicate switches. A small microphone jutted out from the front, aimed at, well, nothing. As I tentatively turned a dial, a hiss filled the air, quickly escalating into static. Not random static, but something structured, almost like a signal. It shifted through frequencies, occasionally punctuated by fragmented audio, snippets of music, news reports, and voices. The greenhouse seemed to grow colder with each passing moment, the shadows deepening in the corners. I adjusted the dials further, trying to isolate the source of the sound. That's when I noticed it, a subtle movement in the overgrown plants surrounding me. Not a violent thrashing, but a slow, deliberate shifting, as if something was observing. A single white rose bloomed instantly, impossibly perfect, right in front of my face. The air grew thick with the scent of roses and something else, something faintly metallic. Fear tightened its grip around my chest. I tried to switch off the device, but my hands wouldn't obey, frozen as if paralyzed by some unseen force. The static intensified, almost painfully loud. The whispers coalesced, resolving into a voice, my grandfather's. It wasn't a clear recording, it was layered with distortion, but the cadence, the inflection, it was undeniably him. Listen, he urged, his voice crackling with static and urgency. You must listen to the garden. He directed me to rotate a specific dial, sending the signal further into the spectrum. Each rotation brought a chilling revelation. A news report from 1923 detailing a local tragedy, a child's lullaby from the early 1900s, and increasingly distorted voices speaking in languages I didn't recognize. The greenhouse seemed to breathe around me, growing colder with each passing moment. I struggled against the device's influence, but it was futile. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, demanding my attention. The plants continued to move in a coordinated fashion, forming an intricate pattern around me. Then, the final signal arrived, a clear voice, young and female, repeating one phrase over and over again. Remember the lilies. As I stared at the newly blooming white roses, their petals began to spiral outwards, forming an impossibly perfect circle. The ground beneath me vibrated with increasing intensity. In the center of the spiraling rose petals, a translucent figure materialized. She wore a flowing Victorian dress, her skin pale and luminous, and she held a single, blood-red lily in her hand. Her eyes were vacant, fixed on me with an unsettling intensity. The air grew heavy with the scent of roses and something darker, something ancient and profoundly sad. The greenhouse windows rattled violently as if caught in an unseen storm, further amplifying the feeling that I was trapped within a nightmare. As the figure raised the red lily towards me, she spoke again, her voice a chilling echo of countless voices layered within the static. He created this place, she whispered, to preserve memories, to trap them. The garden doesn't just record, it feeds upon regret and lost moments. She gestured with the lily towards the antique radio receiver, and I realized what had happened. My grandfather wasn't obsessed with flowers. He was obsessed with preventing a tragedy from being forgotten. He built this device, this garden, as a prison for his grief. The signals weren't just echoes, they were sustained by his pain. The figure extended the lily towards me, and as I watched, mesmerized by horror, my own memories began to fade. Not violently, but like a film being slowly erased. My childhood, my family, everything that had defined me, dissolving into nothingness. The last thing I heard was her whisper, now clear and resonant. Now you are part of the garden. As darkness consumed me entirely, I understood. The white roses weren't just beautiful. They were consuming everything that remained of me. The static ceased, replaced by an unsettling silence. In the center of the perfect circle, only the blood-red lily remained, untouched, radiating a faint warmth, and a